Well, hello everyone. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is JDavis. And now we're headed towards 8,000 interviews on Radio Entrepreneurs. Hard to believe. And from the start, there has always been Mark Furman, Director, Shareholder, Tarlow, Hart Rodgers, and our segment weekly of Entrepreneurship and the Law. Mark, you look exactly like you did 8,000 interviews ago.
Jeffrey, time for an eye exam. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well, Mark. What's on the docket today, Attorney Furman?
Well, the news always is a source of things that relate to the law. But one issue I thought it's worth business owners hearing about was, with social media, with emails, with texts, people communicate in ways, more unfiltered ways than they would ever do if they didn't think it was somehow more private, which, by the way, it's not. Nothing is private. And that includes saying really critical things of other businesses, other people. And I just want to remind folks that, we really have laws that can make people liable for defamation, for writing things that are untrue, for saying things that are untrue. And we do deal with defamation cases. Defamation is the term that covers both libels, things that are written that are defamatory, and slander. So in the heat of battle, in the heat of business, when you feel that somebody is doing you wrong, you need to just take a moment and make sure that what you're about to post or about to send is not defamatory. I do have have had cases over the years where people are sued for defamation. It's not just, accusing people of being of some criminal activity. It can be falsely accusing another business of certain things. You can certainly sell your features and benefits and why you're better than your competitor, but it's got to be either totally truthful or perhaps just a slight bit of, I think some of the cases talk about like puffing sometimes occurs in the sales process, but there's a line where it just becomes defamatory, and you don't want to be defending a defamation disparagement claim because litigation is expensive. It's distracting from the core reasons that you're in business, and it's diverting your attention from actually running your business. So 24-hour rule is always a good idea, and because a lot of times things are published when you're really emotional, when you're really upset, and I'll also say, in business, not every company is the same size. There are deeper pockets than other company, and a big company may be less of a financial issue for them to sue you if you're a smaller competitor of them. So I'd ask you to just keep that in mind to try to stay out of the judicial system, which is always a good idea if at all possible.
You're right. And, most small businesses in the United States, most businesses are small businesses, 85%, 90% are small businesses. And it's not unreasonable in business to think that someone has been taken advantage by somebody else. We see that all the time. And being angry about it is a natural human reaction. It's really how you handle that anger that you're saying you have to be careful, because you don't want to turn a wrong into something that hits you in the face and destroys your own business. And you have to be careful about how to retaliate in today's world. We just don't all have the right, even if we're in the right, to do whatever we want.
Well, that's true. And don't assume that, that you're not going to get sued. I think you have to have a little bit of a defensive posture to it. Sure, you have a right to compete, but you don't have a right to say whatever you want. And the more worried about your company, a bigger entity is as a threat to them, the more likely they may try to legally sue you and divert your attention and cause you to expend money that might otherwise be devoted to the business and growing the business and competing better against the big company. So the
and that's not just big company, small company. That could be company ex-employee to small company. People part ways in jobs. It's pretty common. And to make comments on both sides just shouldn't happen.
That's right. But the way I think about it is, when you post these things, you should be thinking that my audience is a judge or a jury. And how is this going to be reacted if it's blown up on a screen in front of a judge or a jury at a trial? Are they going to think this is an okay thing to say? Or are they going to think it's over the line? And the more angry you are, the more likely you are to, for a moment, lose track of where that line is that you don't want to cross.
Well, I do a lot of work, as you know, in family businesses. So do you. And it's not unusual in family business to experience a lot of anger, a lot of pent up family feelings that have grown throughout a lifetime, and stereotypes. And families too are not prone to slander, correct? And to retaliation.
Well, certainly in families, the emotions are really magnified. I mean, it's because of all the family dynamics and, and certainly there's sadly, a lot of legal disputes that arise out of family relationships and businesses. And some they're almost impossible to resolve because of the dynamics that are at work, because it's not just business. So yes, and now, I'm not necessarily talking about defamation, but other types of disputes around control in companies, compensation, employment, who's the boss, who is designated as the person to run the company in the second generation, and how that selection process can lead to enormous conflict within the family and the business.
Well, anger managing anger, managing what you say is critical to this story. If someone wants to understand that better and keep their business out of trouble, how would they find you, Mark?
I'm best reached at mfurman, Furman, at TBHR-law.com.
Thank you very much. And I know you've never lost your temper. You're one of the most controlled, calm people I've ever met, Mark. And we'll be back next week on Radio Entrepreneurs.